Why are you just listening to a podcast when you could be making one of your very own? I know what you're worried about. You think it's too time-consuming or too expensive. You think you won't understand the technical side of things. You're not sure what you'd talk about. I've got some good news for you. Head to youcanpodcastnow.net for free information on how to get started. That's youcanpodcastnow.net.
Do you dream of fairies and princesses? Then you've come to the right place. Welcome to Disney Coast to Coast.
Hey folks, and welcome to Disney Coast to Coast, the ultimate unofficial Disney fan podcast. I'm Jeff DePauli, and in today's House of Mouse headlines, tons more D23 Expo news. That and so much more, so let's get to it.
Hear the latest news from the Walt Disney Company in today's House of Mouse headlines.
Week after week, as the D23 Expo approaches, we keep getting more details. This week, we learned about a musical celebration of Aladdin. To celebrate the in-home releases of the all-new live-action Aladdin and Walt Disney Animation Studios' Aladdin Walt Disney Signature Collection, hosts Scott Weinger, the original voice of Aladdin, and Linda Larkin, the original voice of Jasmine, take us on a musical magic carpet ride through your favorite tunes from Aladdin both on stage and on screen. Special guests include Brad Kane, the original singing voice of Aladdin, Dee Magno Hall, who played Jasmine in Disney's Aladdin, a musical spectacular, Jamal Sims, choreography of the live-action Aladdin, Clinton Greenspan, who will be Broadway's next Aladdin, Lillias White from Hercules, and Norm Lewis from The Little Mermaid on Broadway. And this is in addition to the already announced Disney on Broadway concert for the Expo. It seems like the Expo is shaping up to have some pretty cool live shows this year. For 30 years, Disney Character Voices has kept the voices of Disney characters alive and well for fans through toys, games, apps, theme park attractions, and much more. Take a journey with Rick Dempsey, the SVP of Character Voices, and many of those beloved voices, including Tony Anselmo, the voice of Donald, Jodie Benson, who's the voice of Ariel, former Disney Coast to Coast guest Bill Farmer, who's the voice of Goofy and Pluto, Brett Iwan, the voice of Mickey, and Linda Larkin, the voice of Jasmine, with more special guests to be announced. They'll step out from behind the microphone to celebrate this joyous anniversary through stories and amazing voices. 20 years later, the team who brought the animated classic Tarzan to life swings into the D23 Expo to give a behind-the-scenes look at how the Walt Disney Animation Studios film came to be. Guests include directors Chris Buck and Kevin Lima, animators Bruce W. Smith, Ken Duncan, and Disney legend Glenn Keane, and producer Bonnie Arnold, as well as a very special performance by Matthew Morrison from his forthcoming Walt Disney Records album. With the art of Disney storytelling, a panel of master storytellers, including Disney legends Tony Baxter and Floyd Norman, who just so happens to be a former Disney Coast to Coast guest, plus Walt Disney Animation Studios' Paul Briggs, head of story for Frozen and Big Hero 6, and legendary producer, and also former Disney Coast to Coast guest Don Hahn, listen as they discuss Walt Disney's impact on their careers and the entertainment industry, highlighting the ways they leverage those lessons to spark creativity today. The astonishing world of Avatar is one of the most indelible ever created in film and a celebration of all that is possible in cinema and storytelling. Avatar's visionary director James Cameron has created a spellbinding, immersive world that transports audiences to a never-before-imagined place inhabited by jaw-droppingly original characters. At D23 Expo 2019, the spectacular world of Avatar comes to life once again with rarely seen props, costumes, and models used in the making of Cameron's groundbreaking film, paired with the iconic movie moments where they are brought to life. Fans will also get a glimpse at the making of Pandora, the world of Avatar at Walt Disney World Resort, making this a one-of-a-kind exhibit. If you're excited for High School Musical, the series on Disney+, you'll love this. Before the global phenomenon returns in a brand new series on Disney+, Expo guests are invited to a special advanced screening of the first episode, plus a panel with a talented new cast. On the Expo show floor, the Disney Plus Pavilion will offer guests demonstrations of the live Disney Plus app as experienced across mobile and connected TV devices, showcasing the unprecedented collection of entertainment from Disney, Pixar, Marvel, Star Wars, National Geographic, and more. Guests will also see costumes and props from Disney Plus originals and have the opportunity to subscribe to the service with a special offer available exclusively to Expo attendees and D23 members. The Hulu Pavilion will be home to more than 20 iconic costumes and artifacts, including the famous red robe worn by the likes of Elizabeth Moss in The Handmaid's Tale, paintings featured in Season 1 of Castle Rock, and George Clooney's Catch-22 costume. In addition to costumes, visitors to the interactive exhibit will be able to get a close look at show props from upcoming Hulu originals like Little Fires Everywhere and select shows found in Hulu's streaming library such as The Good Doctor, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and The Goldbergs. Is this the D23 Expo or Comic-Con? It's becoming hard to tell the difference. Folks, these are just some highlights for the D23 Expo. There is so much more going on, so I encourage you to check out d23.com for all of the details and start making your plans now. But keep in mind, you'll be lucky to get to half of what you plan on. That little live-action movie Aladdin that had such horrible buzz before its release has recently crossed the $1 billion mark at the worldwide box office. It's the 5th Disney-branded live-action release to do so, alongside Beauty and the Beast, Alice in Wonderland, and the 2nd and 4th Pirates of the Caribbean films. Aladdin certainly helped when it comes to our next story. Back in July, the Walt Disney Studios had the highest grossing year ever for any movie studio, and they've still got 5 months of releases. It's quite an astounding statistic. They've made over $7.67 billion since the beginning of 2019, and they still have some heavy hitters to be released like Frozen 2 and Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. The Marvel purchase certainly seems to be paying off for Disney shareholders. Folks, that's going to do it for the news this week, as I'm currently at Midsummer Scream celebrating the 50th anniversary of the Haunted Mansion and hosting a panel with Kimberly J. Brown from the Disney Channel Halloween Town franchise. I'll be back with more news next week. Before we get to this week's Twitter poll, I want to sincerely thank each of you who have decided to become patrons of Disney Coast to Coast. It's because of folks like Philip, Rio, Monet, Anna, Diego, James, Gerardo, Jared, Matt, and Jeffrey that you get new episodes of Disney Coast to Coast. So thank these wonderful folks, because without them, Disney Coast to Coast would no longer exist. If you've enjoyed these free episodes of Disney Coast to Coast for any period of time, you should consider becoming a patron to ensure that new episodes can continue to come your way. Any support you're able to give allows me to produce more episodes for you, plus you'll get bonuses like early episode releases, live stream Q&As, and more. Check it all out at patreon.com/DisneyCTC. That's patreon.com/DIZNEYCTC. Now let's get to this week's Twitter poll, where I asked you all a fun little hypothetical Disney question. I asked, what if Disney was investing money in updates and new attractions in only one of these parks for the next 15 years? Which would you want to see get that TLC? Your options were Magic Kingdom, Epcot, Disney's Hollywood Studios, or Disney's Animal Kingdom. In last place was Disney's Animal Kingdom with 6% of the votes, followed by a tie for Disney's Hollywood Studios and Magic Kingdom, each receiving 21% of the votes, and the winner is Epcot with 52% of the votes. Do you agree with the results of this Twitter poll? Make your voice heard by following Disney CTC on Twitter and taking part in the Twitter poll every week. That's DIZNEYCTC on Twitter. This episode of Disney Coast to Coast was produced by Philip Elke, who has supported the show through Patreon. Other than that, folks, have a magical day. Bye!
Thanks for listening to Disney Coast to Coast. Have a magical day.
Disney Coast to Coast is produced and hosted by Jeff DePauli. Learn more about the podcast and become a supporter at DisneyCoastToCoast.com.